Hey, it's Doom here, and apparently I wasn't recording. I am one half of the DungeonSwag.com team, and I am also the guy who's making a map. And all I did was get one of those little cheapy boxes from a Dollar Tree that it says like "Love Your Family" or "Hug a Dove" or something stupid on it. That's all this is. And I am just using a really watered down paint that came that way from Apple Barrel. Apple Barrel is like the Walmart stuff. I spray painted it roughly white, and then I'm coming around with this dark blue, and I'm just kind of hitting. Okay. Now I'm going to set my brush down for a moment and get a lighter blue. Then I'm going to make a little bit of drops of this. And I'm going to continue what I was doing. Now we're starting our game tomorrow, and I haven't even come up with that real concept of a world map or anything. But I've got a couple in the works, a couple in the pipes as it were, that I'm making. Okay. Something like that, so that it's shallower, inward and darker outward. And I'm just going to get a coating of this down underneath here to use up some of this paint. Throw that in the water. Now I got the +2 hot air gun burning. And I'm trying to push some of that wetter paint outwards. From the middle. I'm going to get my brush, knock some of that water out of it, and then I'm just going to kind of come back in and hit some of this so it'll blow around a little better because it's a little thick in some spots. Okay. Now, I have a couple little spots here where it's starting to bubble and get hot. So I just want to make sure I pop those so they don't inflate. And I'm just going to kind of come around here one more time with the water and flatten some of those out. So we want like a khaki or a tan or something to do our shoreline in. So I'm just going to use the top of my box up here as a palette, I guess, or I'll put a piece of cardboard there, I suppose. And I'm going to get some khaki. And I'm going to get some yellow. And I'm going to get that brush washed out that we just had the blue in. I'm going to start the basic shape of our continent. And then I'm just going to keep dabbing inward to get rid of paint. Okay, we're going to have the +2 hot air gun burning. We're going to get something to be our mid-tone green. So what I'm doing is I'm going to get this, it's called Kelly green. It's an apple barrel paint. We're going to get that same brush. And we're going to paint the bulk of our continent with it. And remember, sand does not come all the way to the center of a continent. So you want to kind of, in the places where you want it to be desert, you can leave it. In the places where you don't want it to be desert, you clean that up. Now, more for fantasy reason, because the beach from the, like, up this far away above the land, you probably wouldn't even see a lot of beach, okay? But for fantasy reason, we're doing it kind of pronounced, okay? Because this is a fantasy map. So there's our mid-tone green. Get rid of our brush. Okay. Now we want a mountain chain somewhere. So for the mountain chain, we're going to get my favorite color on earth, pavement. We're going to make a little splotch with that. And we're going to get a smaller brush now. Pat out the shape of that mountain. So it's a chain of mountains. And it's going to start out like that. And I think we're going to have like a mesa or something down here. So we're going to do that. Now we're going to need some different colors of green here. So what I have, this is called palm leaf. We're going to use a little bit of this. We're going to make some rolling fields over here with it. So this is like a very fertile grassland. Then we're going to get something darker. This is called arbor green. And we're going to do the base of where our pine kind of forest will be. And it'll be like, you know, coming up in the north area here. And then we're going to use this as the base of a giant deciduous forest where the elves might live. Or whoever, Fey Folken. We're going to use that as the base for that, okay? Now for these deciduous forests, we're going to come back with that other green that we just used, that palm leaf. And we're going to smear mix those together. Leaving that dark border around there. Something like that. And then for the pine, I'm not sure how we're going to handle that. Alright, so let's get this some hot air on here. Alright. Clean that brush out. Come back for some of this lighter green again. I'm going to wipe a lot of that off my brush. And that's going to accent the deciduous forests and show different elevations. At least that was my plan. So now I'm getting this other color here. This is called ivy green. This is super like an OD, olive drab, like an army green. And I'm just going to use this same brush with whatever was in there. I'm going to wipe a lot of that off. And I'm going to do that deciduous forest the same way, or the pine forest with this. Okay. Then I'm going to get some of that other arbor green and just touch some spots in it. So that's the dark, that. So we don't really have a desert at this point. So I think what we can do is take an area down here and get some more of that tan and yellow combo. Make a desert. That maybe. And then let's hit this with the hot air and kind of look at how our rivers and stuff can go. So it's important that we know how our rivers go for a couple reasons. One, we want to use that same medium blue that we used, that award blue, I think it was called. If I can find it. Oh, here it is. No, that's mountain blue. Well, I had an award blue that we used to do the other blue with, and now I lost it. There we go. So this is the award blue that we did the... Let me get a smaller brush for this. That brush sucks butt. Let me get some brush that I like. Okay, so we assume it's going to come out of the mountain. And probably spill into a big lake that almost divides the continent. Now, mind you, I did not have a plan walking into this. And let's say it divides that deciduous forest up too. Runs right through it. We'll do one more up here. All right, so now we're starting to have a shape we can work with and we can look at and we can understand. Let's get some of this darker blue. And since this lake is so big that it divides the continent, let's clean up the edges of that a little bit with the blue so it's not, the green's not poking through. Let's get that darker blue and just kind of work it in there. Spread it around. And get some and just kind of dip down the middle. Okay? Now our gray is getting pretty dry there. So I'm going to get a medium tone gray. This is called pewter. And I'm going back to that semi-larger brush. I'm going to put a little bit of pewter here. Okay. I'm going to wipe a lot of that off. Let's get this using for a little baby palette. And we're going to start working our way in around the edges, but not hitting exactly at the edges when we can avoid it. Now, the highest parts of the mountain are going to be a little fuller and grayer. We're going to do the same thing for our little plateau deal down here too. We're just creating a false elevation by lightening up. Okay? We're going to be doing the same thing with the plains, if you were curious. So, let's get a lighter gray. This is called country gray. Get a little dab of that. Let's get some of this and mix in with that. Make something a little lighter. Kind of dab around on the tallest parts. And just lighten that up some more. Just dab around even less. Okay. So now let's get a kind of like a crap brush, if you have one, like a real, like, bristly, kind of hard plastic bristle brush. And let's get this paint here. And start creating some variation in our dirt areas, our grass areas. I mean, you could have probably done this first. I don't know why I didn't. Well, again, I went into this without a plan as well. Okay. So this will probably be a problem because with this much water down here collecting, what will probably happen is a swamp will start to form. So I'm going to get this color here. It's called Tuscan Teal. I'm going to get a little bit of that. I'm going to clean out my brush again. I'm going to get a little Tuscan Teal and a little bit of that green. I'm going to make a swampy color. And wipe a lot of that off. Get a little more of that blue. I'm going to come back with my little brush and bring that river back. Okay. Desert. We need a wasteland of some sort. So let's get that brush we were just doing the chintzy crappy stuff with in a second though. Let me get that big brush back. The bigger brush. I shouldn't call it a big brush. So for our deadlands, we're going to grab some of this apple barrel burnt umber, is what it's called. And I'm going to assume that something bad happened at one time to kill some area of land here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start making an outline with this burnt umber. I'm going to get a little bit of that pavement. AKA the best color in the world. Okay, that's starting to look kind of dead. Now I'm going to get black with a very small brush. And then, in the center of this, I'm going to make a jagged black area. We're going to hit the whole thing with some hot air. Stay tuned. get some of this. We're going to make an island. Okay. I'm going to hit that with hot air. I'm going to rinse out this brush. Nice. All right, so we have our island, we have mountains, we have this mountain, a strange solo mountain, we have 2 deciduous forests, we have a pine forest, which really doesn't look like a pine forest, but we need some snow caps for our mountains. So let's get an obnoxiously bright color like white for no reason and try it. All right, toothpick time. Actually, you know what? I learned a lesson about the toothpick. That's a mistake. So I'm going to get a piece of thin wire. Okay. Put this white away. We're going to get a thin brush. Get a little bit damp. Wipe off a lot of that paint. All right. I guess this one would have some too. All right. What do we need? You know what I think would be cool? Get some orange and try something. I wonder if there are sporadically fires just always burning in this Deadlands area. Maybe no one even knows why. It just happens. It's like an eternal burning forest of some sort. The air is acrid and disgusting. Closer to the hole, it's even worse. Maybe if you look down in that hole, you can see the lava in there. We're going to get some of that yellow I had. Just a dot. All right. So that's kind of what I was going for. And I think we nailed it a little bit. But we don't know which way north, south, east, and west are. Now, I'm going to assume this is a northern hemisphere of whatever continent or whatever world it's on. So I'm going to come up here. Make a little arrow showing north, south, east, and west. Something like that. Now we need a name for our continent. I thought it'd be nice to put a decorative paint job of the name on it. I can't think of a name right now. So if you guys have an idea for a name, why don't you go down there in the comments and toss a name up for me. There's a couple things we need to do yet. So don't think you're free and clear to leave. Let's get rid of this little palette we had. See if another one appears. Oh, it does. All right. Kind of a softer brush with a can cover some good surface area. And some gloss Mod Podge. Now, what's really cool about your map you've made at this point, if you've been following along, is that you can hand this out as a prop to a new adventuring party as if it is a magic item. And it's something sturdy that won't get torn up or thrown in a clipboard and lost. It'll be left on the table. Okay. So there we go. That's the map for their campaign. They're starting tomorrow, most likely. If I need a more in-depth, smaller area, or I need to do something different, I can do whatever. Now, if I don't choose to use this one, and I may not, because I have 2 other maps in the works, and I'll show them to you real quick. Let's set this off to the side so it doesn't get worked up. All right. Map number 1 is a 3D map. Let's see if I can bring this up. It's a 3D map. That's what I'm trying to make. So it's drying. As you can see, I did make a lot of mistakes making this. And though I did record it, and if it does turn out okay, we can do a video with it. And then there's map number 2, which is also 3D, and this is just Mod Podge and shit on a record. And that was a record too. So these were the maps I was trying to do, and I wasn't happy with the way they were turning out, so I kind of called it quitsies. So, let's come back to this map. Then let's hot air it, and then let's clear coat it. And I forgot something crucial. All right. So that's what we came up with there. You could do this very easily yourself. Like I said, in the comments, let me know what we should call it. And maybe I'll use it, maybe I won't. I don't know. I think it looks okay. I am not real happy with the grasslands here not being super bright, though. Let me come back and see what I can do about that. If you like what we're doing here, feel free to like and subscribe and share and all that stuff. I don't know if I already said that. I'm up way past my bedtime. Looking for a sponge. I can't find a sponge. Aha. I did not find a sponge. However, I found something that will work. Nice. I don't know if you can see that from up there. Let's bring it up. Boop. Wait, let's bring the camera down. Boop. Hey, check out the website. Buy some miniatures from us. That'd be sick. Otherwise, let's come back up. Boop. Here's a map for your TTRPG. I made this out of a frame thing from the Dollar Tree. I can hang this on the wall if I want to, so it's out of the way, and it is going to be pretty durable. I'm going to hit it with some clear coat once it's all dry. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Boop.